Here we go. Here we go. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe button, tell a friend, tell a friend. Here we have another crazy story, another crazy story. Up and coming rapper. I mean, Osama. He was up and coming rapper. You know, unfortunately, you know, he didn't make it. It was a terrible thing. I remember that, you know, when I heard whatever happened to Osama, I said, oh man, that's terrible. Because I actually liked his music. I really did. Even though he was talking about a lot of, you know, unproductive things. You know, just something about it. You know, he was a cleanup man. But here's a story of Osama. This is what happened to him right here. Unbelievable.
Breaking news just in this morning. A man shot and killed outside a Detroit club overnight. We're told this happened inside, or rather outside.
So we all know the story right now. Osama, I guess he had a girlfriend who was, you know, who was a dancer in a club. He went to go visit her at her job, and I guess, you know, some individuals, you know, they were kind of, you know, got a little close to her. Osama didn't like that, but Osama had no idea that the individual was a real notorious criminal. You know, I believe he was fresh out of jail doing over 10 years, I believe. And I guess he was out having a good time and whatever he was doing, but he was kind of close to her. Osama didn't like it. Then they got into an argument. Next thing you know, Osama was out of here.
People have been shot, one of them fatally outside the Crazy Horse Club. We are told that this started as an argument over a woman.
New surveillance video shows the moments leading up to the shooting death of Osama.
The unfortunate part about it, it was caught on camera. You know? Like I said, Osama, he used to call himself the cleanup man. You know? He was somewhat of a violent person, actually.
September 3rd, 2015. 4 days before he would lose his life, Brian Cox, known in the hip-hop community as the street rapper Osama, felt his life slowly running out of time in an attempt to save him from the demons.
Don't forget, Osama is the one that, you know what? He said he felt like he had death on him. You know? He felt like, you know, like the devil was out to get him. That's what he said. He said when he was recording, after he recorded that song and he played it for the first time and he heard it, it brought goosebumps, you know, over his body. And then he said, you know what? Wow. Maybe I need to, you know, to go to church.
In his mind, he contacted a pastor in order to leave the life he lived behind.
And I want to introduce that son who 4 days prior to him being murdered, he went to my pastor crying because he wanted out. He didn't want to continue that lifestyle.
Osama.
That's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. If that's so Osama, he knew he was going down a bad path. As I said, they said he went to go meet with a pastor 4 days before his tragic demise. You know, and I said he called himself the cleanup man. He was known to play with weapons, you know, and those type of stuff. You know, I guess he didn't get a chance to change.
Felt unworthy to be saved. He was a gang member. To be specific, he was a member of Chopper Boy's gang, building his notoriety coming up in the west side of Detroit, in the neighborhood known by the eerie
Chopper Boys. You know, that's all he spoke about was the Chopper Boys. That's all he carried with him was choppers.
Dark side. The pastor's visit shook his soul, and it seemed like Osama would dodge his fate with the devil on his back. But he was too tied to the gang culture, and instead made the decision to honor his street credentials as one of the city's most ruthless
Chopper Boys. As I said, Osama, he's known for being one of the first rappers to fire off a firearm in a music video. You know, he thought it was the coolest thing. He was laughing. Ho, 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 ho. Look what I did. Look what I know how to do.
That's a Dex. I don't care where you were last night, who you were with. If in the next 2 minutes, you can give your life to the Lord, God will forgive you for whatever you have done more to you. I thought I had him. He set up like this. He said, "Preacher, I hear what you're saying. I just can't walk away from my street reputation."
That's crazy. One thing about the streets, it's really hard to get out. Believe it or not, most individuals, if you're really in the streets and they get out, most times they either have to go to jail or sometimes you know where else they go. It's a terrible thing. Very rarely will they say, you know what? I'm just ready to get out the streets. Enough is enough.
4 days later, Dex Osama was dead.
Next thing I heard about Dex Osama, he was dead.
September 6, 2015, Dex Osama was out at the Crazy Horse, a club on Michigan Avenue near Lonio, where it's said to be the place of employment where his girlfriend at the time provided her services. He told his father, "I love you," and told the kids around, "I'll be back."
A lot of individuals say, you know what, Dex Osama, he wasn't able to have her not do what she do financially. As you can see, she had to do what she had to do to survive. You would think that Dex Osama would say, you know what, that's her job. That's her job. She's supposed to flirt with individuals. Supposed to be, you know. But I guess he let his emotions get the best of him. It's a terrible thing.
They were his last words and the last time they would see Dex Osama alive. It was meant to be a time of enjoyment. Instead, that night, the club became his tomb. His girlfriend would later testify against his killers, bringing his final...
Imagine that. Imagine that. He went out to party, but some individuals say, you know what, he just went out to go watch his girlfriend. It's one of those things right there. Did Dex Osama expect her not to do her job? I don't know. It's a terrible thing, though.
Moments to light. All was good, but things went south around and after midnight on September 7th, 2015. At the club, his close friend and collaborator on songs like 19.5 stated he was supposed to meet Dex at the club. The plan was that Dex would call him to meet up, but the call never came. Instead, Dex was involved in an altercation that resulted in his demise.
Actually, I was supposed to meet him there, and I was at another club down the street.
I have to admit, maybe if the unfortunate situation didn't happen to Dex Osama, he probably one of the most successful rapper right now. I have to admit, I believe so. It's an example of an individual who let his pride, his ego get the best of him. Maybe he should have went to his girlfriend's job. But what would he expecting her to be doing there? Sitting down? I don't know.
Waiting on his call, I never got the phone call.
One of the men Dex Osama's girlfriend had previous involvements with was present at the club. It was a party for someone he was friends with, so he accompanied the celebrations. On any other night, Dex Osama would simply drop his girlfriend off to work. But on this particular night, he decided to show up, given the fact that he knew whose party it was and who would be in attendance.
He used to drop her off, she was dancing at the time. He'd drop her off at the club and come back and pick her up. This particular night, he knew who party it was, so he actually, I'm gonna go in this night.
That was the first error in his decision, that caused events to spiral out of control.
Unbelievable.
The guy would reach out to Dex Osama's girlfriend, requesting a dance from her, and she would agree.
Unbelievable. I mean, what was Dex Osama expecting to see at the club, you know? You know what I mean?
Acting
Dance
in a
club.
manner to get under Dex Osama's skin, even going as far as throwing money on his girlfriend. Her, doing the job she was employed to do, stepped over to the guy's direction to give him the requested dance. But Dex Osama signaled to her and shut down any chances of her fulfilling that request.
Unbelievable. Dex Osama, you know, he said, you know what? I don't know what he was saying, but he basically didn't want her to do her job. And the individual was saying, what? You're disrespecting me. Imagine that. How easy it is for two individuals to ruin their lives that easily. Unbelievable.
I just want you to dance for him. And as I walked, stepped on the booth to turn around and dance, I was there by him. And he gave me a signal, like waving his hand, telling me no, I couldn't dance for him.
That's when she says Dex poured champagne on her head.
Dex became infuriated and poured champagne on her, instructing her to get dressed, so she ran to the back. The next thing
I mean, the Dex Osama, he let his feelings get out, you know, take control of him. I mean, but what was he expecting? I mean, I don't know.
while in the back,
She got to do
was
her
the
job.
shot that Dex Osama let off in the club as he brandished his weapon. His girlfriend was in a state of shock with how quickly things escalated. She heard the shot go off and everyone was rushing to exit the club. The timestamp on the surveillance footage captured inside the club showing the altercation happening around 1:28 a.m. Piles of patrons ran screaming out the doors. Dex Osama exited with the intention of getting the rest of his guns in the car.
Dex Osama's a bad man. He walked around with two guns in the air. I mean, there was only one. He's a bad man. Unbelievable.
Didn't go as he planned. Turns out, the valet moved the vehicle. Dex would let off another shot in the air, sending persons running for their life. The next altercation, a couple minutes after, would result in his demise. The men whose party it was at the club would confront Dex Osama on his actions ruining their party. In the verbal back and forth, one of the guys reached over and shot Dex in the chest. This prompted a shootout, with patrons scattering the scene and Dex running while shooting back. He would make it as far as a nearby gas station, where he collapsed due to damage from the shot. Authorities would get to the scene to find Dex Osama fighting for his life. His last words were one of a man trying to cling to life. "I can't breathe. I don't want to die." Dex Osama would be transported to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Two men.
So sad. So sad. Even though Dex Osama, he bragged about, you know, taking people's lives and shooting at people and all these other type of unproductive stuff. When it became his time, he didn't want to go. No one wants to go. I mean, I don't think so. You know what I mean. But RIP to this young man. Feelings, emotions. They could be a downfall sometimes. But I'm trying to figure out if Dex Osama just let his girlfriend do her job, everything will be okay. Till next time. They say, you know what? Crime don't pay, but I see them do it though. Unbelievable.